Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about real life moral issues in the workplace. Now, I did an interview with my elder brother and he gave me a specific scenario that he witnessed inside his company, and today we'll discuss about that. Now, let's dive into it. Now, before I get into the whole why is it wrong part and why is the situation morally a moral issue, I will give you a bit of context. So what happened is that during lunchtime, we used person A. Person A, who was a senior, would often approach person B, who is a junior in my brother's company, and she would throw out playful comments or sarcastic comments and disguise them as teasing, but they were actually insults. So, for example, like during lunch one day, person A, the senior, approached person B, the junior, and said, "Hey, I thought you were supposed to be eating less. Aren't you? Don't you want to lose weight? Then how will you lose weight? You're so fat." So here comes the question: why is it morally wrong? Now, it is morally wrong because it's wrong to devalue someone based on how they look or perhaps on the physical appearance, right? It is degrading their worth as a human being, and it's also not good to degrade someone based on also maybe the status on how they are in life. That's the first moral issue with this situation. The second is that a lack of basic respect. Now, every person deserves basic respect regardless of their appearance or status or race even. In this case, person A did not show basic respect towards person B, but instead was rude and threw comments that were really negative and can affect the mental health of person B. Now, person B did not report or stand up for herself due to the power dynamic in the company. Perhaps person B was too afraid to report because that's her senior, right? So instead, person B resorted to awkwardly laughing it off or just brushing it off in the brief moment. Okay, so now we arrive at Aristotelian vices. So person A's behaviors are linked towards cruelty because she said harsh comments that bring down another person's self-worth. Furthermore, person A's abuse of power using her position to bully others was hurtful comments. She she was really cruel towards person B. She completely disregarded her moral worth as a human being, and yeah, this did not happen once, as my brother mentioned in the interview, but would happen on a regular basis where she gets verbally abused based on how she looks, and yeah, she is on the extreme side of of the Aristotelian vice. She's on the negative extreme side. Now, as for person B was behaviors were linked to cowardice because she did not have enough courage to stand up for herself and speak what she felt at that moment, or she did not even resort to reporting it to human resource department. So as a result, she was only able to respond with an awkward laugh by brushing it off. Now, as we look at the analysis of the Aristotelian vice, as I've mentioned before, person A is more on the deficiency side of the Aristotelian vice. She portrays cruelty within her behaviors. So, what is cruelty? Cruelty embodies coldness and indifference towards the plight of others. Basically, disregard of how other people feel. Yep. Benevolence represents the virtuous midpoint, reflecting genuine care and kindness towards others. Whereas self-sacrifice embodies the excess where one's concern for others goes to the extreme, potentially harming themselves or oneself. That's for person A. Now for person B, she was on also the deficiency side of the analysis of the Aristotelian vice virtues. Now, she portrayed cowardice, and what cowardice is the vice that involves the lack of bravery. On the golden mean side, however, is the courage, and it's where you face your fears while taking appropriate risk and maintaining your reasonableness. Recklessness is the excess side of the virtue, where you're overly brave, I guess you can say. Now, here comes the interesting part where we sit down and say, what can these two person A and person B, do in order to become better, or as I say, achieve the golden mean of Aristotelian? Now, we'll start with person A. Person A needs to develop self-awareness by reflecting on her comments, even if it was meant as a joke. And they need to understand the impact. So the words, reflect on how her words affect her colleagues, the company, and themselves. She needs to build a moral standard for herself. For example, practice empathy. And also, I like to quote this as well, is a famous word from Jesus: treat others how you would like to be treated. And that is so true. Like, how wouldn't you want to be treated the way others treat you, how you treat others? Yep. Now, what person B, however, can do is be brave and stand up for herself to protect her dignity. Set clear boundaries. For example, like, I did not like what you have said to me, and please don't say that again. But say it calmly, so they can express their thoughts on body shaming without being confrontational. Report the behavior of person A to HR team. However, she must seek advice from other colleagues before doing so, just in case she wrongly accuses, or like it goes, not the way she expected. Thank you.